I'm going to give just a couple quick introductions to how I would do things with addition. So if I was adding 174 plus 263, I would write it vertically as 1704 plus 263. Notice how they're lined up nice and neatly in columns. So I would make sure I do that. 4 plus 3 is 7. I'm going from right to left. 7 plus 6 is 13, so I'm going to put down 3 and carry the 1. And then 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4. So that's just a quick review of addition. We'll get into subtraction now, which is a little bit harder. So if we had a number like 643 minus 475, again, I would do the same thing in terms of writing it up and down and write it vertically. Get them lined up right on top of each other. And then I'll try to decide, can I do 3 minus 5? If I had $3, could I take $5 away? No, I can't. So I need to borrow from the tens column. So that number is going to go down by 1. We're taking away 1 from the 10 column, and we're going to move it over to the ones. So we're adding 10 to this number. So instead of 3, it's going to become 13. So we're basically putting a 1 in front of it because we're adding 10 from this column. Now we can subtract that. Can we do 3 minus 7? No, we can't because 3 is smaller than 7. So we're going to borrow from the hundreds column. The 6 is going to go down by 1. It'll be a 5. And then we're going to add again. Taking 100, we're going to add 100 over to the tens column. So we're going to put a 1 in front of this because we're adding 10, because 10 tens equal 100. Now we can subtract that, and we can subtract the hundreds. Now I go from right to left. 13 minus 5 is 8. 13 minus 7 is 6. 5 minus 4 is 1. So our answer would be 168. Let's do one more subtraction before we get into multiplication. So if we had to do, let's say we have 571 minus 300, let's say 16. We can't do 1 minus 6 because 1 is smaller than 6. So we're borrowing from the 10. So that becomes a 6. It becomes 1 less. We're taking this 10 and moving it over there. So it's going to be 10 plus 1, which is 11. And now we can subtract this and this and this because the top number is bigger than the bottom number. 11 minus 6 is 5. 6 minus 1 is 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. So the answer would be 255. Let's do a little bit of multiplication now. So if we had a number like, let's say we had 11 times 17, there's a couple ways you can do this, and I want you just to pick whichever method makes more sense to you. I always try to pick the biggest number, in this case 17. So I would do 17 times 10 and 17 times 1, because I'm breaking 11 into 10 plus 1. So the first number, the biggest number, is 17, so I put that for both of these. And then I just broke down 11 into 10 plus 1 because 17 times 10 is really easy to do in your head. So if we multiplied 17 times 10, it would be 170. 17 times 1 is 17, and then add those together, and you get 781, 187. If you use what we call the standard algorithm, or what's traditional, kind of the way that a lot of us learn this, if we did 17 times 11, you're really doing the same thing we just did. You're multiplying 17 times 1. So you'd be doing 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 1 is 1. So 17 times 1 is 17. Then we put a 0 down because now we're going to get rid of the ones column. So this basically stands for 10. So now we're doing 17 times 10. We always go from the bottom corner up to the top right. So 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 1 is 1. And we add it together, and you get 187. You get the same exact answer because really you're doing the same thing with both of these methods. When doing the standard algorithm, again, you're going to go from the right side, you multiply up, and then you multiply diagonally over to the left, and then put a 0 down because we're done with the ones column. So this basically stands for 10, and then we multiply to the right. 1 times 7 is 7, 1 times 1 is 1, and then we add them together. Let's do one more multiplication like that. Let's say we have, let's do 16 times 13. Again, I would do it as 16 times, I break down 13 and make that 10 plus 3 is 13. 16 is the bigger number, so I'm using that. And then I do 16 times 10 and 16 times 3. 16 times 10 is going to be 160 because 16 times 1 is 16, and we add the 0. 16 times 3, I know that 16 times 2 is 32. If we add 16 onto that, we get 48. If you add together, you get 8, 10, carry the 1, so you have 208. Now with the standard algorithm, you'll be doing 16 times 13. Again, we're going to multiply. The first one, we're really doing 16 times 3. We're going to start on the right side. 3 times 6 is 18. Carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Because 16 times 3 is 48. We're putting down a 0 because we're done with this. Now this is basically 16 times 10. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. Again, going from right to left. We know that 16 times 10 is 160, so that makes sense. Again, we have the exact same numbers we have over here. And we just add it up. We get 8. 4 plus 6 is 10. Carry the 1. 208. So those are some quick reviews of how to do addition, subtraction, and multiplication. There are a lot of ways to do it. Those are a couple ways that I think would be kind of the most efficient ways to do it. Please let me know if you have any questions. I hope this helps. Thanks.